Hey, hello everybody. I wanted to do a quick hello everybody. I wanted to do a quick video today on a sort of new style that I'm going to try. It's urban sketching. It's just a different style with the actual watercolors and the colors used. So, if you look over there, this is the reference photo I used. Made a very loose sketch and then went over it with some fine liners. And I'm just going to start laying in some colour now. But I don't want to be a slave and try and copy the actual colours in the photo like I usually do. I want to try and add my own fun colours, you know. So using the colour wheel, I'm going to try and complement them as best I can. So sort of, you know, the old rule is warm colours to grab attention and push things forward, and then cool colours to sort of push them in the back and calm you down. So I've decided I'm going to do like the church in some nice reddy and orangey type colours, maybe some yellows, some nice warm colours, and then the background is just going to be sort of nice cool blues and turquoise. I got a new turquoise colour I want to try, so we'll have a go at that. I got some permanent rose, which I haven't actually even put it on paper yet, so I'm not sure how cool or warm it actually is. It could go either way. I think it's going to edge towards the cool side, because it's sort of it's a bluey red. So we'll see where it goes. We'll give it a go. I'm just going to wet my watercolors up and bring them back to life, because they are fast asleep. If you hear me sniff, I apologise. It's hay fever season and it's the worst one yet. I'm only going to use 2 brushes, nothing fancy today, just a flat and a kind of rigger. And I'm just going to sort of have fun. I'm not trying to be neat. It's kind of a modern take on watercolour, you know, sort of made popular by Ian Fennelly now, where you just sort of have fun with your colours and go as crazy as you want. So I'm taking colours straight from the pan, straight to the page, and I'm going to let them all really mix up together. I'm going to use a really wet mixture as well. In fact, I'm going to wet them a bit more. I want really wet on wet stuff going on, so the colours can blend together and just create their own sort of artwork. So starting off with my flat brush, and I'm going to start with some lemon yellow, because it's a new colour that I got. You can see it popping out there, and I want to have some fun with it. Let's put a bit of lemon yellow for this roof, I think. And then I'm going to go straight into some cadmium orange, and I'm going to let that do its thing. To be fair, it looks like I may not be wet enough, so I may have to start using the pan. Let's go straight into this permanent rose, see what it does. Ooh, I like that. That's nice. I like that. Bit of burnt sienna over this side, I think. But yeah, this is all about just, I'm going to let the colours talk. It's up to them to create this art, not me. They're just going to sort of do their own thing and have fun. I might get another cool, maybe a cadmium yellow. This here at the top, mixed with a bit of orange maybe. Just going to let them all merge together and have fun. we're going to clean the brush and we're going to go straight into the cools. I'm going to start with ultramarine, as you do. Super wet, and I'm just going to start painting in some of these things. That's not actually ultramarine, is it? It's not actually ultramarine. This is that turquoise I was talking about. This is my new colour. That's ultramarine. And I'll try and get in there as well. Make that pop out a bit. Yeah, so that's the ultramarine. Very nice colour. So we're going straight from the pan, as wet as you can go, and I'm just going to get the rigger and get some colour on with that. I want it to be very splatty, very fun. You know, plenty of energy going on. That's the goal. Splatter some of that permanent rose in. I quite like that colour. And some burnt sienna, of course. Let's get a bit more burnt sienna just around some parts. Now, I might go for a yellowy green. I might have to mix this though. So I'm going to try yellow ochre, some sap green, nice earthy yellowy green. I might even put a touch of turquoise in it to give it some punch. It's kind of a true green, and I might just put in some shapes for this foliage. It's going all over me. I've now got paint all over my legs. Great. Right, now I need to let that dry and we'll see what happens, what it throws up. Obviously, there's hardly any skill involved at this point. I'm just kind of throwing colours everywhere. Maybe a bit of technical skill involved with colour choices. But yeah, we're going to let that dry and then we're going to go back in with some felt tips. They're special felt tips actually. They're watercolour felt tips, water-based Tombos. So we're going to go in and add some tones and some darkness once it dries a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in again for some details. So I'll end the video here and I'll join it back on when we're ready. Okay, so it's dry now, dry-ish. There's some parts which are still wet, but it's dry enough. Because they watercolour, they don't even have to be dry really, but I just don't want to completely move the whole colours and mix it up too much. I'm just going to start off with a sort of mid-grey. I think I'll use the N65, which is just a cool medium grey, kind of light really. And I'm just going to start picking up some shadows which are in the photograph, and I'm just going to start shading them in. So I'm trying to work out where the light's coming from on the photo, and because the photo's kind of covered with tree shadows which I haven't included in this, I'd say it's kind of coming from this direction. So we got that yellow light, let's say that's where the sun's hitting, so everything else is going to be sort of in shadow. I'm just going to go ahead and tone up everything else with these Tombos. Staying loose, staying as loose as possible. This should just add like an extra dimension to everything really. That's going to be very dark across there. That's going to be extremely dark. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It's fun to try stuff though, try different things and new methods. Sorry, I just knocked the camera. It's fun because even if it doesn't work on the whole, you still might pick up new little tips and tricks that you enjoyed or you liked. So, we all have an idea in our heads of what we want our art to look like, usually from our favourite artists and stuff. But it's important to also embrace your own style. And, just because it doesn't look exactly like Ian Fennelly or Matt Gibbons, it's still art, it's your art. So, embrace it. I'm just putting in some tone here and there, some blue. Trying to jump out some certain parts. I'll go in with the black in a minute, and that's when things might start to pop a little more. At the moment, it's all still very loose. And a little bit chaotic and a little bit messy, to be honest. Okay, shadow there. And I'm going to sweep a little shadow down. Now I'm doing that just because I want to pop that roof a little bit more than it actually is in the photo. There's some medium tone. Now I'm going to go straight in with the big boy, the black. I think that's black, N25. I think that's black and not a dark grey. Who knows? We'll soon find out. And I'm going to start popping in some, some real dark parts. I'm at quite a bad angle at the moment for drawing because I'm trying to film it, so kind of leaning over and drawing at an angle, but it's more about just trying the colour out than being perfect here, to be fair. There we go, just popping some certain shapes out. Now this one, which is N57, is kind of a green tone. Just gonna pop a bit of that in for the trees. That'll do. I got the N89, which is a warm light tone, which I'm going to try and just going to use it for certain parts. A darker warm tone, and I'm going to try and just going to add some false details to this just to create some patterns. I'll be going back in with the fine liner I think in a bit and adding more details to these parts. I think in hindsight I should have went in a bit while it was a bit wetter, so I could have added a little bit of blending. I think I might have added something new. Blended up some colours a bit. I'll go over all those gravestones just so they can look a bit more uniformed. I do all that in shadow. But yeah, as you can see, it kind of, when you add the tone, kind of creates a new feel. It's not so basic with just basic colours. You get kind of a different vibe from it. Right, I'm gonna go to the coolest, lightest one I have, which I'm gonna go with the N75, and I'm just gonna lighten up some parts of this road. Like so. Right, I'm going to let them settle down a minute. And then I'm going back in with a fine liner to try and add a bit more detail where it's just, I mean, it's basically done. I'm just going to add loads of detail now with the fine liners. and try and turn it into a picture. At the moment, that's just the base, and the drawing, it starts now. Hey, welcome back, guys. So what I've done is I've given it a little hairdryer again, just to speed things up, because this is just a bit of a trial and error sort of thing. And now I'm just going to go back in with some fine liners. I use the I forget the brand name. Is it Sakura? Yeah, Sakura Microns. I also use the Derwents, which are also, they're pretty much identical. They're the same thing, just different brands. They're all the same. They're permanent, waterproof. So they're not water resistant, they're waterproof. And yeah, they give a nice flow. And I use smooth paper so I can get nice ink marks. I'm just going to start emphasising some parts now with hatching and squiggles. And I need to get a different position for this. So it's all in the detail, they say. And that's what this bit's all about, just adding in what you see, or even what you think you see. The drawing pretty much starts now. If you imagine this is our sketch layer, and we're starting our drawing right now. But we're still staying loose. Lots of hatching and lots of squiggles and wiggles. Just quickly having a quick glance at the reference and then straight to it. And I'm not drawing exactly what I see, I'm kind of just interpreting what I think I see. To keep the loose vibe going. There's some parts which are still a bit damp, and the liners won't work properly if it's a bit damp. Some brickwork up there. There's a few bricks popping out on here. Again, just one quick look and then straight in. Because I want to avoid getting too stiff, because if you get too stiff, it ends up a bit boring, when you're after liveliness. So this is the part which can become tedious, so you've got to try and just embrace it, enjoy it. I personally enjoy it because the picture's pretty much done, all the paint's on, and you just adding detail is just, you know, should be the fun part. You're kind of bringing you're turning your drawing into a drawing. Can't actually see what's by there, so I'm just going to do a little squiggly wiggle. There's like little spikes at the top, which I will add. It haven't all got to make sense. It's about having fun. Because I'm only using an A4 size paper, this pen's maybe a bit thick, so I will be toning down in size in a minute to do some hatching. I think this could be a bit overpowering, except for the really dark areas. We can just knock ourselves out and get stuck in. And like I said, I true to my word, squiggles, wiggles, hatches, literally just a quick look and let the pen work. I'm going to put a bit of hatching on this roof because I want it to look a bit darker than the actual rest of the building. So what this does is, if you thought you went in a bit hard with the colours and the tones, this is going to pop that back out because it's going to be a lot darker because it's pure black. Right, I think that'll do with a 0.5. And I'm going to go in with a tiny 0.05, which is the smallest I have. And we're going to try and get some more details going on. Minimal difference to the last one, to be fair. Bit of tone on the side there. going to hatch in the whole bottom of this area where it's a lot darker. And I might give another hatch to this roof. Yeah, so it's a fun method, made famous by Ian Family, and kind of a much more fun way of enjoying your art, I'd have to say. You know, you get to choose your own colours and do your own thing. I still haven't actually stood back and had a look at it yet, so I don't know how this is going, so please let me know what you think. Hatch in some of these side bricks. I might actually hatch in the whole top part of this. That's not the greatest hatching in the world. This roof looks a bit plain and empty. I'm going to attempt some I'm just going to do something there because it's kind of a bit of a focal point. It's warm, it's in the right position to be a focal point. Some extra gravestones and stuff just for visual appearance. It's just bump really, it's not really it's just there, you know, it makes you think there's something's there. I'm just going to go back in with the black now and try and pick up some N15, so it was not the black I had earlier. I didn't think it was. I'm just going to try and pick up some blacker parts. I think I'll make that bell stand out rather than push it with the opposite way round. I think I might add a lot of black down there as well. Right, I think that'll do. Do I put some tone onto that roof or not? I might add a bit of, something just on the side. Sorry, you're rocking again. You can see these colours, they sort of blend together as well. They pull off each other. So you can see I'm dragging that black up. Right, will do. Only one thing left to do is sign it, of course. And then sit back and have a look and see what we think. I think it looks quite interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. It's a really fun way of painting. Thanks for watching.